not racist.
Why they're chanting "Save our children"? I don't know why they're chanting that. Save them from what?
In Kegworth, one of those waiting for his claim to be heard is Hassan, who told me he escaped the war in Syria. He asks us not to show his face because his family are still living under the regime.
Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope you are feeling good. Today we are going to be checking out a video titled UK Citizens Unite Chanting "We Want Our Country Back" at huge rally. Wow, I believe this is going to be another interesting one. Let's check it out. Go.
None of us are racist. I'm an EDL member. I'm a Tommy Robinson boy. I'm sick of the corrupt government telling us lies, blacking out. They're doing blackouts on news media. Look what's happening in Paris, France, Germany, Sweden.
All things that were reported.
Thousands of UK citizens recently gathered at Victoria Station in London, chanting "We want our country back," a slogan that resonated as they moved toward Parliament Square. The protest, led by English actor Lawrence Fox and far-right activist Tommy Robinson, was a reaction to perceived threats from Muslim extremism. The rally, fueled by frustration and fear, highlighted concerns about national security and the effectiveness of current strategies to combat radicalisation.
Protest in a holiday coastal town out of season this weekend. Far-right nationalists descended on the Lincolnshire town of Skegness to exploit local unease about hotels housing asylum seekers. A Home Office policy that has caused friction with locals who feel that their concerns are being ignored. At Saturday's march, some locals were among the 200 to 300 people who marched through Skegness to stage a rally in a local park, under the watchful eye of the police. But it was clear that some in the crowd didn't appreciate our presence.
Oh, let me two streets where you know.
Don't take us for fools. We know they are not refugees. They are illegal immigrants.
The march was attended by far-right groups from outside Skegness. One of those was Patriotic Alternative, a small group led by a former leading activist in the British National Party. And the group made leading speeches at the event. At this time of year, not a lot should be going on in the coastal resort of Skegness. Facing the North Sea, this seaside town is famously bracing, even more so in late February. But Skegness is one of a number of towns and cities, including holiday resorts, that the Home Office is using to house asylum seekers. There are around 220 asylum seekers housed in the town of 22,000. Some locals and businesses are concerned about the effect that the use of this seafront accommodation could have on the local economy and the town's image.
Both the threes, 33.
It's eyes down at the local social club where the punters are chasing a full house.
The demonstrators, carrying banners and chanting slogans, expressed their demand for stronger government actions and community efforts to curb extremist ideologies. The repeated chant, "We want our country back," was not just a reaction to recent incidents, but also a broader statement about the perceived failures of current policies to address these threats adequately.
Aware of.
We think that we're being put on with the amount of the asylum seekers what we've got. We're not saying we don't want any, but there is a lot. They should be shared out a bit better. And that sounds terrible, doesn't it? I don't mean it to.
The issue has been building locally for months. In November, a usually poorly attended council meeting became very rowdy.
I'm the Mayor's chaplain, so I turned up to bless the council. And there's usually 15, 20 people in there in the public spaces. Well, there were considerably more than that. And it very quickly degenerated into people just shouting and bawling and being quite unpleasant. So the meeting was abandoned and the mayor and the town clerk and the councillors left. But the majority of people at that meeting, I would say, were not local. I know a lot of the local people, and there were accents and people there I'd never seen before.
At At the local Anglican church, St Matthew's, churchgoers are celebrating the beginning of Lent, but it seems everyone in the town is aware of the asylum controversy.
The peace of the Lord be always with you.
The rector of Skegness, Richard Holden, has seen the tensions develop over the last few months firsthand.
I think if it's going to affect local businesses, I think that's a legitimate concern. So our economy is based on holidaymakers. So if that's damaged, that damages the town. So I think that's a legitimate concern.
And what's not legitimate?
I think it's not legitimate to say that they're coming and they're standing outside the school gates, that they are going into the local nightclub.
The UK has long been grappling with the issue of Muslim radicalism, which has become a significant topic of discussion across communities. These concerns are rooted in historical and contemporary contexts. Muslim immigrants from former British colonies like Pakistan, India and Bangladesh brought diverse Islamic traditions and schools of thought to the UK. They often settled in urban areas, facing challenges like integration, discrimination and socio-economic marginalisation.
And being a nuisance or that they're unpleasant to anybody. I've never found them unpleasant. You do see them walking around, and they walk around in twos and threes, and I think when people have actually been aggressive to them, I think it's probably sensible to walk around in twos and threes.
The asylum seekers we spoke to did not want to speak on camera. One told us the police visited them at the hotels to brief them ahead of the protest. Businesses in Skegness want a policy rethink.
It's the government's problem here. They've made a right mess of it. They shouldn't have done what they've done. I mean, it's costing, the amount of money it's costing per day is ridiculous. When you've got a cost of living crisis, but we're spending all this money on hotels for asylum seekers. When you've got all these old MOD sites which are standing empty. I mean, you know, it's just crazy. Just beggars belief.
And who's benefiting from all of this?
There are companies and individuals from London and Birmingham. Nobody can find out exactly who they are. It's all clothed in secrecy, etc. So they're the ones that are making the money. They've suddenly come in, bought up these hotels and done this deal with the government or Serco or whoever it happens to be. And they're getting ridiculous amounts of money. And we know what will happen. As soon as the government decides to move them away, these guys will suddenly disappear and we'll never see them again. And then these hotels will be left to rack and ruin.
The local MP has spoken out against outsiders marching through Skegness and inflaming the issue.
I share a lot of the concerns that local people have in Skegness and around the country about the use of hotels for people seeking asylum. It doesn't seem to me that it is the right place for people seeking asylum, and it doesn't seem like it's the right place, the right thing to be doing with hotels themselves either. But that's not the same thing as saying people with those concerns.
During the period of significant Muslim immigration, political Islamist groups began to rise, some influenced by ideologies from the Muslim Brotherhood and similar movements. These groups initially focused on political activism rather than violent extremism. However, recent years have seen the emergence of more radical ideologies within British society, making the UK a focal point for radical preachers. In response to growing concerns about radicalisation, the UK introduced the PREVENT strategy. This strategy aims to stop individuals from becoming radicalised and joining extremist groups. However, PREVENT has been controversial, with some communities criticising it for allegedly targeting Muslims unfairly. Despite these criticisms, many Muslim communities and organisations have actively worked to counter extremism through education, community engagement and cooperation with law enforcement.
This small village in England is divided, as dozens of asylum seekers have been moved into a local hotel.
It's turning us into racist people, which I don't want to be racist, but it's making me dislike these people.
These poor people that have gone through hell need somewhere to go to.
Some villagers have been holding protests. One turned violent, and a local man was charged after a police officer was injured.
Save Kedworth!
What do you think the village needs saving from?
Just 250 strangers that we don't know anything about.
Kedworth is a sleepy village. Most people know each other. It's a very small community.
Kegworth is great, so it's a really nice community spirit.
From sleepy to strife, a community in conflict.
Get out! Cheeky!
This village on the edge of Leicestershire, population 3,500, has found itself bitterly divided over the arrival of around 100 new residents.
They've been dropped in a village where there's literally nothing to do. Things have changed completely, and it has caused a divide in the village.
The guys have come from war-torn countries. They want to feel safe and welcomed and contribute to the community.
This is what caused the clashes. There aren't many facilities in Kegworth, but the U Lodge was one of them.
It's a family-run hotel with a gym, a pool and a popular restaurant. But last month, without much notice, all bookings were suddenly cancelled and all the signs to the hotel were covered over because the owner had signed an exclusive contract with the Home Office to use the hotel for asylum seekers.
Small village, big problem!
And its local communities feeling the fallout. This is Operation U Lodge, a campaign group that's been holding regular demos.
People are just scared to walk the streets now.
What are you scared of?
Well, we don't know because we don't know anything about these people.
They're marching to the home of the man who owns the hotel. He's a local businessman. He's well known locally because he's owned that hotel for 25 years and is friends with some of the residents.
The owner, Jeremy Pick, hasn't responded to our request for an interview. The villagers say he's refused to answer their concerns. But as they shout their slogans, some passers-by start arguing with them because they say they don't support their protest.
It's this populist politics that we've got now, that's what worries me. Everyone's polarised. Nobody talks to each other anymore. And it's Donald Trump politics, isn't it?
Fear and frustration over extremist threats have sometimes fueled anti-Muslim sentiment and Islamophobia, leading to social tensions. The rise of the English Defence League, EDL, and other far-right groups highlights these issues. The EDL, for example, was formed in response to what its members perceive as the growing influence of Islam in the UK and has been involved in numerous protests and rallies. The recent rally in June, drawing thousands of UK citizens to Victoria Station and then to Parliament Square, was a manifestation of these long-standing fears and frustrations. Lawrence Fox and Tommy Robinson led the rally, which was marked by chants of "We want our country back" and calls for stronger governmental actions and community initiatives to curb the influence of extremist ideologies.
Why they're chanting "Save our children," I don't know why they're chanting that. Save them from what?
In Kegworth, one of those waiting for his claim to be heard is Hassan, who told me he escaped the war in Syria. He asks us not to show his face because his family are still living under the regime.
And every day, bombs, every day, we were seeing our friend dead, our relative dead.
Some people think that you get lots of money, you get benefits.
I don't think Syrian come here to get money. We left the war. We don't think in this way.
He gets emotional as he tells me he didn't want to fight for the government or for the opposition groups.
We escaped from our country because I don't want to kill anyone, so I left my country.
But every week, outside his temporary new home, there have been rowdy rallies.
Yeah.
They say, save our village. I don't know. Save our village from what? From the human? I just want to tell you that I am human.
The protests have caused deep divisions. On social media, rumours are rife.
I had my phone stolen, but it was before they actually came to the village. But it was all over the social media that it was them, and it wasn't them. It's just like everything with Facebook, it snowballs.
What shoe size do you wear? 40.
40?
Oh, what's that in English?
On the other side of the divide, Operation Open Arms Kegworth, residents who have set up a group to welcome their new neighbours.
I'm learning about their culture, I'm learning different languages. I see their families sometimes virtually or photos, and they've met my baby, and yeah, it's changed my life a lot. It makes you realise how lucky you are.
There are some people who are very hostile to the guys being here. How do you deal with that? You know, you've been labelled lefties and do-gooders.
I think people are entitled to have different views, and some people can think that they shouldn't be in our village, but still that they're people who need help, whether they should be in our village or whether they think the government should have housed them somewhere else isn't really relevant.
More than 50,000 asylum seekers are stuck in hotels. The Home Office says the system is under incredible strain and that they'll work with local authorities to ensure the arrangements are safe for local people and for the hotel residents. But they admit there's no deadline to end their use. And so, villagers in Kegworth and their new arrivals have no idea how long they'll be staying.
Many participants voiced their concerns about the safety of their communities and the need for a more robust approach to prevent radicalisation, particularly among young people. Organisers emphasised that the rally was not an indictment of the entire Muslim community, but a call to address the specific issue of extremism that poses a threat to national security. This distinction was crucial to understanding the rally's motivations and the message the participants aimed to convey. The event drew a diverse crowd, including victims of past attacks, community leaders and ordinary citizens who shared a common goal of ensuring a safe and secure environment for all. Personal testimonies from people like Tommy Robinson added a deeply personal dimension to the rally. Robinson criticised the police for their handling of cases related to extremism and exploitation. He recounted his experience in 2012 when the police refused to take DNA evidence from his son, dismissing the case as a missing person report, which he later found to be false.
The people of Britain have been unbelievably generous towards illegal immigrants. We pay millions in tax for them every single day. We've given up local hotels, local housing, our public safety in some cases. We've bent over backwards for them. The people of Wethersfield know this only too well. Their town has been turned into essentially a detention centre. They took the government to court over this. They did lose. Anyway, GB News can exclusively reveal that today some of those illegal migrants decided to conduct a protest outside, blocking roads and causing chaos. The police were called and they tried to deal with it.
Maybe she
Yeah, it's concerning stuff, isn't it? Well, hopefully very shortly I'm going to be talking to a Wethersfield resident by the name of Dave Price, who is with us, actually. Dave, look, thank you very much for joining us here on Patrick Christie's Tonight. Can you shed a bit more light for us, please, on what was going on there?
Yeah, apparently it was about 70 of them came out, and the major complaint they've got is the fact that nothing seems to be happening in terms of the processing. Some of them have been there since the camp was opened, and that seemed to be their main gripe. They had hoped there was somebody from the Home Office was there, and they were just wanting them to come out and just say a few words. But the Home Office person decided to stay in, so the road stayed blocked. And then even more police were called. And I think there's about 20 police were up there, and that's when they decided to go back into the base.
At Parliament Square, the crowd gathered to watch Tommy Robinson's documentary Lawfare, which critiques what he views as an uneven policing system. The screening sparked discussions on law enforcement methods and societal fairness. The atmosphere was charged with energy as loud, hard rock music played, resonating with the crowd through powerful lyrics such as "I Want My Country Back." The rally, adorned with Union Jack flags, also saw addresses from notable figures like YouTuber Kay Benjamin, who spoke about his controversial interview with former Prime Minister Liz Truss and the challenges he faced as a result. On social media, people from various countries expressed their support for the British, asserting that they deserve to reclaim their country and oppose the Islamic transformation of society. Some argued that all European nations need to protect their homelands from what they describe as a mass invasion. The Metropolitan Police released a statement detailing their observations of the rally, noting the presence of individuals with a history of involvement in violent incidents and associations with factions across London and the UK. The police also noted the presence of individuals previously involved in anti-lockdown protests and related disturbances.
Total farce, this is.
Yeah, look, what's it like now living alongside this facility in your area? I know that we've spoken previously as there were plans to do this and then when there were appeals against it, but we are where we are now, and currently where we are is people sitting outside of that base causing a massive scene, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose I will give credit where credit is due. They've not been coming down the village. There's been no problem at all. But that doesn't take away from the fact, the government have spent about £40 million plus on this facility. At £5 million, when they first came up with the idea, it was close to break even. So they've wasted £40 million plus on this, and there's no progress made at all in terms of processing them. So it's what a total waste of money. And also as well, I'll be quite honest with you, up there, it is so isolated. I wouldn't put my dog up there, if you know what I mean.
So I suppose the concern for you really is that this could get even more volatile, I suppose, going forward. They are obviously very angry and very frustrated. We've got a general election on at the moment, and then we'll see what happens after that. Let's be honest, it doesn't look like their claims are going to be processed anytime soon. I suppose that might be a concern for the local residents.
Well, I guess so. I think some of the residents are concerned that if the Rwanda flights ever take off, and they get to know that, are they going to start thinking about stirring things up? Who knows? But I think the main thing is it's the wrong place to put them, and it's cost taxpayers, like I say, at least £49 million. We can't get hold of how much health is spending on it. We can't get hold on how much the police are spending on it.
Commander Lutero emphasised ongoing discussions with protest organisers ahead of the event. Our priority, he stated, is to enable peaceful protests, ensuring safety for participants in both the march and counter-protest. This commitment highlights the importance of maintaining order while protecting the well-being of all involved. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson reiterated, all Londoners have a right to feel and be safe in their city, and we will take a zero-tolerance approach to any racially or religiously motivated hate crime we become aware of. This rally serves as a reminder that many individuals in Britain are deeply committed to protecting their nation from potential risks, including concerns over Islamist influence. Engaging in transparent discussions and cooperative initiatives is essential to addressing these apprehensions while upholding democratic principles and respecting the rights of every individual. As this dialogue continues to unfold, the rallying cry against Muslim extremism reflects the UK's commitment to security and social cohesion. Balancing vigilance with respect for diversity remains a significant challenge. Moving forward, it will be crucial for policymakers, community leaders and citizens alike to navigate these waters with sensitivity and clarity, ensuring a safe and inclusive society for all. This endeavour requires ongoing dialogue, community engagement and the development of policies that address the root cause of extremism without alienating any segment of the population. Promoting education and awareness is equally important, fostering a deeper understanding of the UK's diverse Muslim communities. The rally in London, with thousands of UK citizens chanting, "We want our country back," was a significant event that highlighted the concerns and frustrations of many people. While it aimed to address the specific issue of Muslim extremism, it also brought to light the broader challenges of balancing security and inclusivity in a diverse society. The event underscored the need for ongoing dialogue, education, and community engagement to create a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. In the aftermath of the rally, the public discourse continues to evolve. There is a growing recognition of the need to address the root causes of extremism through comprehensive strategies that include social integration, economic opportunities, and community cohesion. It is also clear that fostering mutual understanding and respect among different cultural and religious groups is vital for long-term peace and security. As the UK navigates these complex issues, the role of the government, law enforcement and civil society will be crucial. The preventer strategy and other counter-terrorism measures will likely continue to be debated and refined. Ensuring that these strategies are effective, fair and inclusive will be a key challenge. The rally also highlighted the importance of community-led initiatives in countering extremism. Many Muslim organisations and leaders have been at the forefront of efforts to prevent radicalisation, often working closely with local authorities and law enforcement. These efforts include educational programs, youth engagement, and interfaith dialogues that promote peace and understanding. Moreover, the media's role in shaping public perception and discourse about extremism and national security cannot be overlooked. Responsible reporting that avoids sensationalism and fosters informed debate is essential in building a cohesive and resilient society. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
What an interesting video, what an interesting compilation just by the name. UK citizens unite chanting, "We want our country back" at a huge rally. I understand that UK citizens, the indigenous people, I understand that they are coming out to express their grievance, chanting they want their country back because of how immigrants have been managed by the government. Just by the example they gave, that the facility that was meant for the community, the government is using it to house the immigrants, which they believe is totally unacceptable. I understand that. I also believe that the government, just by the point they also gave, that the government is spending a lot in terms of housing, in terms of feeding and housing in regards to the immigrants. And I know UK used to be a country where they promote freedom of speech, freedom of expression, multiculturalism, and they tend to welcome immigrants and make them feel safe that they can live in the country and have a peaceful life. But seeing the citizens expressing their grievance this way, it shows that they have had some bad experiences regarding other immigrants that have come into the country. And I'm not surprised, because recently you see a lot of protests going on in the UK regarding extremists, regarding the fundamentalists, people that fail to integrate and try to impose their own culture, their own belief on the locals. And this is the major problem why the locals and the indigenous people right now are very wary of the immigrant, because of the past experience I've had with other immigrants that came into the country. And I believe these people coming into the country, it's not all of them that are bad. A lot of them are good people. And I believe if they are given the opportunity to express themselves, I believe the locals are going to see that they have a lot in common and they have a lot to offer to the community. They have a lot to offer to the country, because we all understand that immigrants coming into a country can add a lot of economic values to the country if they are ready to integrate. And we also understand that they can also cause damage to the country when they fail to integrate. And we believe that if these people are given the opportunity to express themselves, I believe they have a lot in common. They also have a lot to offer. And I understand the locals and the indigenous people are expressing their grievance based on the past experience they have had with other immigrants. And that is no doubt, seeing what is happening right now in the UK. A lot of protests is going on as a result of people coming to impose their religion, coming to impose their belief, coming to impose their culture on the locals, instead of them integrating and accommodating the culture, the tradition, and the value system of the indigenous people. They tend to come and try to impose their own culture, their own belief, which I see as totally unacceptable. And this is the reason why the locals are feeling unsafe to accept other immigrants into the country. Wow. And I believe we should all try to love one another. And at the end of the day, there are ways to come into a country legally, and the people will be ready to accept you wholeheartedly. You coming into the country and trying to force your belief, your ideology on the people might cause a lot of problem. And because of what those that came in the past have done, it has made it difficult for others that even come without having any bad intention. They have made it difficult for them, which I believe that is the main problem why the people are expressing their grievance. Wow. I've really learned a lot just watching this video. I also like to hear your comments. Keep the conversation rolling. Don't forget, click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. Do have a nice day.